everybody. Another edition of MenoLounge this week. No, it's not Tuesday, it's Thursday. But if you are a MenoLounge fan, you might remember a few weeks ago when I was in New York, we had a special menopause, MenoLounge with NNABI for perimenopause, and we had a technical failure. So we're doing it again. I'm going to bring them up. They are incredible women. I see, okay. And are the founders. Let me see who comes up with the NNABI handle, and then I can figure out who's going to come up on their own handle. Hi, EJ.
Hey, Julie, how are you?
Hi. Is Marina going to join us?
Yes, she's going to join.
Awesome. Let me remind me her handle to pull up here. Are you looking? Uh-oh. I see spinning. Here we go. All right, let's see. There we go. I see you, Marina. All right, fingers crossed, you two. Two times the charm, I'm hoping. Hi, Marina.
Hi. How are you, Julie?
Hi. I see EJ spinning over there. Do you see EJ spinning?
I see her spinning.
Oh my goodness. Well, she's amazing. Maybe that's why she's spinning. All right, we're gonna get this done because why does Instagram always show everything backwards? Even if I do it, like I can't, there's no way to not make it backwards. But however, EJ, if you can hear us, why don't you hop out and hop back in? Fingers crossed that works. But this is a special product, and that's why I wanted to make sure that no matter what, we got you to on here, or one of you, or however we're gonna do this, to share, because I love that we are now talking about perimenopause specifically, not just all lumped into menopause and postmenopause. And so you guys have developed a really cool product. And so first of all, while we're waiting for
EJ to come back.
This is a demonstration of perimenopause. Like, tell us about the name first, NNABI, and how did you land on NNABI?
So yes, EJ would be perfect to talk about this because actually it's a Korean word. EJ is South Korean. So NNABI with one N, NNABI, stands for the word butterfly. And butterfly, as you think about the meaning and the symbology of a butterfly, it's about transformation and just coming out as something more beautiful and stronger than what it was before. So when we thought about perimenopause and this transitional time that is perimenopause and how you come out of it, transformed, hopefully stronger, more empowered, more beautiful, feeling, amazing. And that's the vision that we have for this stage, the vision that we have for our brand, and what we want to accomplish with women going through perimenopause, this transformative, mostly positive time and positive result going through it. And, of course, think about our positive impact. Yeah, and it's two ends because it's two of us. So double NNABI. Yeah.
Beautiful. And yes, it's such a transformational time. And I think that's why I connected with you two so much when we met, because we're so aligned on believing that while this is challenging for many of us, it's still a fantastic opportunity to emerge as something even better. So very, very cool. All right. So why perimenopause specifically? We know we have the name, but first of all, you two are not in perimenopause yet. You're
we are
at it over there.
We are. We're very much in perimenopause, like in the thick of it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so why peri specifically?
So why peri specifically? Because why not? There was nothing here when we discovered, when we stumbled upon perimenopause as a phase. We were not aware of it, and we were outraged by the fact that we didn't know about it. And then we were also relieved by the fact that many of the things that we were experiencing and are still experiencing were connected to the crazy hormonal fluctuations that happened during this time. I think Dr. Marie Claire talks about it in the zone of chaos when it comes to perimenopause and what happens to your hormones. So it's really dramatic what happens and the spikes that your body experiences. So, and the symptoms that you have, and the fact that you're not aware that some of the things that are happening to you have to do with hormones. Like, we were not educated about that. So if you're not sleeping, if you are gaining weight, or if you're having pains or discomfort or forgetfulness, or really feeling unusually weird, it could be your hormones. It's likely your hormones. Hey, EJ, how are you?
Just
You're back.
like
You made it.
perimenopause, you persist. Here we go.
I did not give up, and I'm using my own handle.
That's okay. We'll tag Nabi in the collaboration, so we'll still get you
Thank you.
over
But
there on the
carry on,
page.
Marina.
You just have to keep going. Well, Marina was
Yes.
doing a beautiful job about
Yeah.
talking about why perimenopause. And yeah, it's the scariest time, I think. I don't even have to think. We know, because as a younger woman, you don't know what's happening. You're in maybe your late 30s, even mid 30s, right? 35 is early or surgical due to a hysterectomy or something else. And next thing you know, you're plunged in, or at least maybe if you're surgical, hopefully your doctor prepared you. But for sure, early 40s, and all of a sudden, your brain isn't working. I know for me, that's what hit me first, and then night sweats, and then hot flashes. We always talk about hot flashes, hot flashes, hot flashes, but it was the brain fog that was really scary for me. But it's so confusing. I had two teenagers, and then a preteen, a husband, a business. So you don't really know. And so I'm so glad that you guys are really focusing in the perimenopause space, because I think women in peri need a lot of support, a lot of support. So
Yeah.
what are you finding as you're talking about the product here? I love it.
Yeah, I don't know if EJ, you want to talk a little bit about the research that we've done and how that impacts, or how we found out that this impacts women's happiness and,
Oh, yeah.
like self-worth.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Perimenopause can be scary, especially when you face it without knowing what it is, because you're not feeling like yourself. And in fact, I think we're making that as a term now in the research community. Not feeling like myself is a
Right.
thing. So it just because it's not labeled as something that we know in the medical world does not mean it's not important, or it's not that you're not experiencing it. We're all experiencing it. Through our own research, we learned that women are experiencing various symptoms, and everybody's different. That's another thing. There's no one pair experience, and 85% of them are saying that how they're feeling as due to symptoms are impacting their quality of life on a day-to-day basis. So, which is a lot, like day to day, it's happening. And how that is actually making them feel is angry, sad, depressed, not motivated, confused, and those are all the very negative negative emotions. And when we ask, what are you contributing to what you're feeling? And although they're all screened based on their symptoms of perimenopause, only less than one third were saying perimenopause. The rest were like, my lifestyle, and blaming themselves. And
Right.
that's when we were like looking at each other saying, well, that's exactly what it is. We don't have help. They're also not getting the help that they need from the doctors. So they
Yeah,
feel
because the
quite
doctors
lonely and
don't
also
even
lost.
Don't
recognize
know.
it,
Yeah.
right? They're what do we
Exactly.
call it? Medical gaslighting. They're not acknowledging, because they're saying the same thing. Oh, it's just your lifestyle. You're just stressed. Go meditate or something. Oh,
Yes. Go do yoga.
right. Go for a walk. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that all of those things are important, but I think that we wanted to make sure that this is a pronounced thing because it's biology. This is not something that we're doing to ourselves. And often when people do go to their doctors, they walk out with a prescription for antidepressant. We're not
Right.
saying that is wrong. Maybe that is something that can be helpful, right? Depending on your situation. However, we do not want people to get to that as the only solution,
Right.
because there are more ways to unpack this. And also, I think first thing first is really making sure that you're not putting yourself a kind of a punishment, because as if you're doing something wrong. We wanted to make sure that women are understanding that, first of all, this is happening naturally, and there is a way that we can help ourselves so we can thrive versus try to survive. And that was really the fuel of, how we landed on NABI, because we just felt like perimenopause is quite long period of time, especially like our prime time, if you will, when we're doing a lot of building, we're making, and we're assisting also a lot of people and a lot of things, and really just seeing this cohort as a driving force of society. We were like, we got to help this group ourselves, actually, but
Right.
this group collectively, so that by the time we reach that menopause state is after that 10 plus years. So we're thinking, how do we help ourselves that 10 plus years we're in it?
Right. I love that. Where were you two for me 13 years ago? That's what I would say. I was in the thick of it. And the reality is, even though we talk so much in our community about hormone replacement, um, it's less than 2% of women that are actually taking hormone replacement right now. And so we need to make sure that we also have products, support, services for women that, one, are not comfortable, they're not ready, they don't want to take it, but that doesn't mean you just have to suffer, right? Because that's old school. We're not old school anymore. The new way is, what else can we do? And so I love that you created this. And actually, that was the whole foundation for MenoWell, because at the time I did not think, because my mother told me no hormone replacement, because she was of that generation. So I've since broken that little thing. Thank God. But in the interim, this would have been so fantastic. I haven't opened these yet. I was waiting for this. So let's talk about the product. You have two, Peri Essential 5, which is a daily, I'm reading right off the packaging, daily botanical support, specifically designed for perimenopause. And this is a supplement. Doctor formulated. What does that mean? I'm going to open it.
Well, when we came in, so we were talking about how we stumbled into perimenopause as a way of, we were looking at it. We heard perimenopause. We were like, what is this? We're in it. There's nothing. No one's talking about it. So there needs to be a lot of education and also solutions for these, for this particular time, because there were not a lot of solutions. We decided to make something about it. And first of all, we got educated. We spoke with so many people in these fields that are experts, just trying to get, all the knowledge that was available out there, and conferences, you name it. We've been on this journey for what, like 4 years now. And when we decided to come up with a solution, we did partner with doctors, just to say we want to do something that is holistic, that is a very comprehensive support for what happens to women in perimenopause, because there's like so many symptoms. We talk about 35, 50, over 100, there's, depending who you speak with and the research that you do, but there's dozens and dozens of symptoms that stem from these hormonal fluctuations. So we want to do something that was very comprehensive and that would support women in the areas that get most disrupted by the hormonal changes that are happening. So what we identified by speaking with doctors, we understood that there were 5 areas. That's why it's Peri Essential 5, because it's tackling these 5 areas. It's your nervous system, it's your digestion and liver function, it's your immunity, your blood sugar levels, and your inflammation. Thank you. So, joint pain and joint discomfort, that's, something that happens. So when we learned this, we decided to do something that would be supportive of all these different areas. So we partnered with a naturopath and an herbalist that helped us really understand what were peer-reviewed, clinically studied ingredients that were safe to take for longer periods of time. And she put together a very synergistic formulation for us that we then refined with a compounder pharmacist, and we then took it to an open label trial with a physician here in New York, just to try it with 30 women for 2 months and see how the formulation worked. And we got really good results, and everything is on our website. So I won't bore you with, a lot of, results, but overall, there was a very good experience and a very good reception of the formulation for these women. So we decided to move ahead with it, and we decided to move ahead with it in the form of a capsule as well. That was another thing.
That's what Health Coach Angela said. Is it a powder? So it's capsule, and you take 2 twice a day, right?
Yes, you take 2 twice a day, and you were talking about 2 formulations. So basically, the foundation of the formulation is very much the same for both products that we have. The green one, the second one is it has an additional ingredient, which is CBD, because we did learn through our research there were a lot of women that were tapping into CBD and the benefits of CBD to alleviate a lot of perimenopause and menopause symptoms. So sleep, joint discomfort, inflammation, so you name it. There's several things that CBD helps with, and anxiety. So we decided to add that that benefit. For those who are looking for it, we call it like that extra zen. The formulation helps a lot with these different symptoms, but then if you want a bigger punch, you take the CBD
What
one.
does that mean? So first you said zen, and then a bigger punch. So zen, I think like, oh, I'm so calm now, and so that's why when I want a more calm experience. But a punch, I feel like that's more energy. So what do you think describes this best?
I would say more zen, like, just like, it helps you wind down. I like to say that it helps me replace that glass of wine in the evening if I'm too wired.
Now you're talking.
Just I take this, and it helps me wind down for the evening and feel a bit more mellow and just ready to go to bed and read a book and really unplug. And so sometimes we tend to take it, we share with EJ and other people that are taking the product as well, customers, that sometimes they do take these interchangeably. They take it in the evening if they need something that helps them unwind, or in the weekend. I have 2 very young kids, so sometimes I take it in the weekend. I take the CBD one just to you
take them all day with your little ones.
To be more calm.
I get it.
Or when I'm about to get my period and I have some PMS. So there's some moments where it makes sense for me personally to plug it in, but it depends on who you're talking with and how they take it.
Makes me think, would you ever take 2 of the essential 5 in the morning and then 2 of these in the evening?
Yeah, that's how.
EJ, is that what how you?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get sleepy in the morning, but I probably still want to get the benefits, right?
Right. In fact, that I have done in the morning the CBD intake, and that felt a little like I'm a little tired, or like I feel a little slow. Like that was just me, because I'm not a regular CBD taker either. The dosage is really gentle. So people who've been consuming, in fact, yesterday I had a call with a consumer, our customer who takes the CBD every night before she goes to bed. For her, CBD worked better, the Essential 5 CBD. But she was like, oh, it was not a big deal because the dosage is so gentle and she's already been using it. So her body already recognizes it, versus I'm not a regular CBD user. So when I first introduced it to myself, it was a little bit in the morning, felt, I wasn't feeling like myself in a little bit. But what I actually do now, because I built a bit of that like a micro dosing. So in the morning, I actually take, especially I'm going to have like a really intense day. I have a 1 regular, 1 CBD. So that makes 2. And then it's the same thing in the evening. So that's something I've done. And that helps, kind of takes the edges off. Because sometimes you're just so intense and you're stressed, you kind of need something to help you calm yourself. And I think that's also, at least for me, that's been the benefit that I've been experiencing. And I've been actually introduced, I have a couple of friends who are postmenopause, and they were like, can I take it still? And I was like, you can still take it. And what they've been telling me is that from an inflammation, the joint pains, that's been really helpful, from a
Interesting.
bloating to joint pain. So that's been really helpful for them. So, we always say if you're in postmenopause, you can still take Periancestral 5, but make sure that you're covering yourself with smart supplementation that covers bone and heart health. So there's an aspect that, during peri versus menopause, I think when you come to menopause, you do need to worry about like your bone health and your heart health a bit more than in perimenopause stage. But we're here to talk perimenopause. But I'm telling you that we do have some fans who are not falling into peri. They're off gone to post-menopause stage, but they still love us.
I love it. And so health coach Angela asked, because of course she did, if you know Angela, what are the ingredients that really speak to what you're trying to achieve here? And of course, I don't have my readers on
Yeah.
right now. So you guys, I'm just going to let you, the
Yeah,
lead.
we can talk. So it took us a little over a year to finalize the formulation. So there's a lot of work that went into formulation and to the ingredients. So we do work with high quality, many of them medical grade ingredients many are patented ingredients as well. So we have few, but very mighty. And when I say mighty, it's not only from a quality perspective, but also from a dosage perspective, because we're leveraging the dosages that are recommended in clinical studies for these ingredients to alleviate the symptoms that are supporting the different ingredients. And then the formulation is synergistic. This means that it works, like it's the formulation is stronger than the individual ingredients. So it's just like it works really, really well. And it has curcumin. So that's hydrocurc. It's a branded ingredient. It has artichoke leaf. It has KSM66, which is ashwagandha. It's another branded ingredient. It has maca. It has schisandra fruit, and it has cinnamon. So those are the 6 ingredients. And then we were talking about the CBD one, which has the green one has CBD in it. So that's the 7th ingredient only for that specific product. And then the regular it's 6.
And then on our website, we have a detailed sort of explanation of our ingredients, because we did not cut corners there. It took a while, about a year, as Marina said, to identifying the clinically proven, validated ingredients. So you might say, oh, in a conversation of anything hormone, I heard about these kind of herbs, and they're not in our blend, because while the herbs been used for years, millions of years, if they do not have the clinically backed studies, then we did not choose to work with the ingredient, because we wanted to make sure we're going with a science backed and then proven, validated data. So that's the also reason. But please visit us at nabbilife.com. We have a dedicated section for ingredients, so you can learn more about why they were chosen, and then to do what, especially the around 5 areas of health that we talked about. We specifically carefully chosen these ingredients to work with for a reason. And also what we did not want to be was, sometimes you pick up a product, there are like 30 things jammed in a capsule. We're like, how much do you really put in there? We wanted to make sure, that's why we wanted to bet on the fewer that's going to do the job, and put the enough dosage to actually that it will work for you.
Yeah.
But it is still a botanical.
Yeah.
So botanicals take time. So what have your customers noticed, that when they take either one, how long does it take before they start to feel the benefit?
So we can talk about, there's anecdotal information, then we can talk about what we've heard in the clinical study that we did, an open label study. So what we saw is that as soon as 2 weeks, women were starting to feel some improvement. They were noticing some changes. So I'm sleeping better, I feel less stressed. With the CBD one, of course, you get that the benefit of the CBD, you feel it quite right away. But then you start feeling, as soon as 2 weeks in, you start feeling some changes. It does take from 6 weeks to, I'd say, yeah, between like a month and a half and 3 months to build that basis in your system, just to have some that not only foundation, but then also that consistent feeling of I'm sleeping better, I'm managing stress better, I'm feeling less overwhelmed, I feel more energy. So I'd say that week 6 is a really good mark that we've seen that a lot of women are already feeling the changes and they are able to articulate what they feel. And then from conversations, and our study goes to 2 months, so it's 60 days. But from what we know from our naturopath and herbalist that we work with, is that the formulation takes 4 months to 6 months to really build in your system and deliver all the benefits. So I'd say month 4 is when you feel all the goodies.
Yeah, I think it's
Yes.
important just to, to be transparent, because pharmaceuticals are one thing, right? And you're going to have an instant benefit from a pharmaceutical. Well, actually, even hormone replacement can take a few weeks.
Yeah.
So, so just know that. And so a natural plant is going to take longer. So be patient to get the benefits, but then you're making a different choice for yourself. So, I think it's really important. Women ask that about our maca all the time. You're going to feel the benefit of fiber right away, but maca takes time to build up in your system. So.
But it's like anything, you get the compounding effect, but it's as if you're working out, or if you're eating healthy and you're just, it takes time for you to notice those changes. And you, in the meantime, as you get to that place, you feel some things, but then more specifically, you feel them after a while that you've been on it, on a specific diet or on a specific workout plan, or like taking HRT or taking like a medication, a pharmaceutical medication. This is not a silver bullet, as we like to say with EJ. This is not Tylenol or Advil that you take because you have a headache and it's just like, okay, 2 hours after you're feeling great. That's not it. Right. This is something that you have to commit to, and then be consistent and be realistic about how you're getting to where you want to be. And it's not the only thing that you need to do. That's something that we try to be so transparent, and then to manage expectations about specifically Peri-Essential 5, but then also about what happens to your body during this time. That
overall,
it's important that you adjust lifestyle overall. There's so many things, and it, Julie, because you do nutrition, so how important nutrition is during this time and how important it is to give to your body certain things. You were talking about fiber, but there's a lot of different things that your body will benefit from if you're choosing to give it to your body, and to feel better, or sleep, and making sure that you're getting that sleep, or exercise, or managing stress. There's a lot of different things that don't have to only do with taking something, but just an overall adjustment of your lifestyle.
We need to start that in perimenopause, and it can be difficult because of all the things that are happening in our world, especially at that time. But that's our big signal. Oh, I have to readjust, realign, reprioritize myself to start to feel better. And it doesn't matter if it's, you're taking a pharmaceutical or a supplement or a functional food. All of those things need to work together. And that's where the big levers are. So, our Dr. Larissa in-house would call that part of your health stack. So a supplement can be part of your health stack, just like a functional food, and even a pharmaceutical, if that's what you choose to do. So we want to get all of these pieces together. Oh, good. You answered. Marina,
take it with food, like anything. Like if you're, taking supplements, it's always better to take them with food.
Yeah. Do you need to take it with a fat soluble, like vitamin D? You need to have fat soluble, but no, just
not really. Like it's fine.
Required. Yeah, it's not required. Oh. Loser. It's not required, but we, I think what's been good about this cohort, though, we already have built-in vitamin habit in the morning, or throughout the day. So it's really adding it to hopefully you're taking vitamin D. Hopefully you are taking, if you need calcium or omega or the magnesium or whatnot. So whatever that you're taking, this is really nice additive to that routine that you already have built in. So it's not like a one other thing you have to remember. This cohort already kind of been doing this for a while, so it's just adding that to your mix. So I think that's something that we emphasize, so that it's not like you don't have to adapt or learn whole nother new behavior. It's really added to existing your vitamin supplement routine on a daily basis as a part of your care. And then you just, yeah, that's just part of your program. And Julie, I think you made a really important point. Oftentimes women caught off guard when you walk into Perry, and that can be lots of sort of emotions that I shared with you from our research was pretty negative. But I think that what we need to do is that keep educating women that you're kind of in it for a long journey. And this is a time to really reevaluate and assess, and then really think about your whole body and trying to figure out what your new strategy is, because things are going to change. So that quick fix mindset is only going to harm you, but also it will hurt you if you don't do the right thing now, and it will make you more frustrated, frankly. So we see a
We
lot
have
of
to move
people
away from
cutting.
that during
Yeah,
Perry, because all that quick fix stuff actually worked for us and all the way up to Perry, right? So I need to lose
that's
5 pounds.
exactly
Like,
right.
let me just not eat, have a Diet Coke, and get on the
And then run
treadmill. Like,
like crazy.
but it worked. That's why we reinforced all that, right? But it does not work. It's not good for us anymore. So we need to shed some of those habits and create new habits. And
Yeah,
it takes new habits, take a little bit of work, and they take
it
time.
takes time.
So
Yeah,
yeah, but
it's
they're
it's
worth
a
it.
new habit will take time and dedication, but I do think that if we turn this as a powerful fuel instead of a frustrating thing that we have to get through, there is a now social media trend, like it's not that I have to, I get to, right? So like trying to approach this similar mindset in perimenopause and turn this into a power of empowerment, I think is something that Nabi is preaching, because we want to, yes, of course it can be unpleasant and uncomfortable what we're going through. However, this is also a pretty amazing time if you think about our 40s, and there's a lot of experiences and wisdom that we have now that we didn't have 20 years ago. Kind of how are we turning this and to do what we are? A lot of the people in Perry are creators. They are driving the household and the businesses. There's a lot of making happening, and we
Mhm.
want to uh, salute to all the Perry women out there. We call them Perry babes. Yeah, we want to connect people within our tribe, and I think that's the thing too. Find your tribe.
Mm.
During this time, you alone is not going to go far. So you need obviously your loved ones, but you also need people who you can talk about these changes. Kind of, there's a reason why Perry is also called second puberty. There's a lot of things that we are going through, and it can be quite daunting and shocking. But if we start talking about it, that makes you feel better, and also knowing that, oh, I'm not the only one experiencing these things, that alone actually can be quite comforting too. So I
Right.
think that the emphasis of that building community around you and finding your tribe during this time, and really use this as a power of time for empowerment. I mean, that's something that we really, what we want to continue to reinforce, and that's what Nabi is here to remind you.
I love that. You guys do a great job on your website. First of all, you're like WTF perimenopause, right? So, and that pretty much says it all right there, because the way it hits us. And I just want to thank perimenopausal women, you two, especially because you guys are creating this demand for more conversation, for doctors to show up differently. You're not sitting by silently, suffering through your experience. You're like, hell no, we're not going to take this anymore. And we need solutions, we need support, and you need to talk to us and do something about it. So us postmenopausal babes are grateful for you perimenopausal babes, because we still get to benefit on the end, Woo! We're still in the shoot. We're at the end of the shoot, but we're still in the shoot. Or as Dr. Sharon Malone says, you're postmenopausal forever.
Forever.
So we get to still
Forever.
benefit from all the, kind of jumping up and down that you Perrys are doing. So super awesome. You gave some great tips. I don't know if you have any more left in your pocket, or
Oh yeah, get a good doctor. That's another very important one, that it's for peri and meno. Just, find yourself a really good doctor that will listen to you, that will sit with you, and that will help you through this. Again, this is lifestyle adjustments, not just, like taking medication or getting, just labs, but there's like so many things that you need support with, and having a good uh, a primary health physician or a good OB-GYN that can help you through it, or a naturopath, whomever you're working with, having that relationship and having someone that is listening to you and helping you and giving you solutions and that you see that the change and that you start feeling better. That's critical.
I
We've
like
heard
to
so many times.
remind perimenopausal women that it's okay to find a doctor
Yeah,
dedicated for
yeah,
this part of your journey, because especially if you've had a baby, you feel so loyal to that doctor that delivered your baby, or if you haven't had a baby, you've been with a doctor since you were a kid, or whatever the story, we carry around with us. So it feels like we can be disloyal finding a new doctor, but it's like a success team.
yeah,
Success is a team sport. You need to find that doctor that
yeah,
specializes in menopause, that gets what you're going through, that's not necessarily going to make you take a blood test to figure out what your hormone levels are on one day, a moment in time, that he or she's going to trust when you say, I don't feel like myself. Oh, and I'm maybe having some brain fog or hot flashes or night sweats or whatever. Oh, okay, perimenopause. Now we can go to that next step. And so I just want to remind women that are early to this, late 30s, 40s, you're not being disloyal. And if your doctor isn't the one, you can go to menopause.org and put in your zip code and find a menopause specialist there. There's great telemed docs, with Alloy and with MIDI and Evernow and Heather Hirsch Collective. Find your people. If there's not a person next to you, guarantee there's somebody
yeah,
online, a doctor that will help you. So I just want to put in that plug, because I know younger women, it can feel bad, like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
But you
don't
need
feel
to
bad.
break up.
Breakup
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
Breakup
Breakup happen.
happens, and
Yeah,
we've been saying that actually to our community. Breakup happens, and that's okay.
yeah.
So you have to find the
it's
right
a
Okay,
time
can
of
I
person.
just say, you
it's
can
a
keep,
time of change. It's a
yes, it
time of
is okay, but
change.
they
So,
can they can keep that doctor too,
They
oh,
can
for
keep,
sure.
right?
Yeah,
yeah,
They can just
if it
add
helps.
add
yeah,
on
supplement.
add on. It's like, I'm a baseball fan. Add on. Like,
Add
we need
on, yeah,
more runs,
yeah.
So it's a team sport. So you can have more than one person. It's not like you don't, your general doctor does not take care of your teeth, right? We don't feel weird about having a
Yes,
dentist.
find
So it's the same
specialists.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
add
also
on.
another thing that I want to say is that yes, having a great doctor, a good doctor is good, but also this is a time for us to really understand our body. So we really need to understand all the symptoms that could be that something we will be experiencing during this phase. So even if that may not be you, trying to educate yourself all the ways like that Perry could be experienced by somebody. And we have a good quiz actually on our website. The quiz is not, so just so you know that Perry is not an illness, it's not a disease. So after a quiz, if anyone say, oh, you are, Perry, like, I mean, you have to kind of take that as a little bit of a directional only. Obviously, you do need to find a consult with your doctor, but our quiz is set up so that you are understanding all the ways that Perry could actually come and experience by somebody. So really just try to learn it and then try to, compare your situations, your symptoms with that list, and then trying to understand, like, am I feeling this or not? Oh, maybe I need to understand, or something happened to me that was weird. Trying to make that understanding so that by the time you go to the doctor, you know how to articulate what you are experiencing. Because that's another thing we heard from people, women in Perry, that I feel off, but I don't really know how to explain this. And
Mm,
so the more you understand your feeling and what you're experiencing around the symptoms, because Perry is very symptom led. So even the blood work may not always tell you yes or no.
right.
So really you need to understand the symptoms and then try to use that as a way to talk about what you feel and what you're experiencing so that you can get help better. I think that is something we want to emphasize to people as well. It kind of starts with you.
Right. You can trust your body and find a doctor that trusts your body, trusts you, trusting your body. There's so much to unpack in there, right? I
And
love
we'll
it.
be here for a
Okay.
while, right? So
Uh,
Perry's here for a while. So, it's a long journey. So I think, when you know that it's going to be a long journey, just like, buckle up, but not in a with the fear or anything. It's like there are ways that we can help ourselves. And remember, ladies, there's no one thing. There are many things. That's why the integrated looking at your body as a whole is super important during this time. It's never the one thing that
No,
it'll
we're way more
fix you or
complex
solve
than
you.
that. Yeah. Even though I love a good one thing, I have to say. Okay, so before I ask you, well, actually, I just ask you, and then we'll tell everybody where they can go and try NNABI. And so, you know, we're MenoWell, but maybe do we need to change our name to Perimenopause? No, I'm just kidding. But what might MenoWell mean to you? But I wouldn't mind if you put a little slant on it for Perimenopause.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
for me, MenoWell means like amazing, delicious nutrition. Like it's something, you know, just like a healthy snack that I know I'm giving my body something, you know, like really good. So that's, you know, like the encapsulation of what I like literal. And then, you know, just like, you know, like thinking about these, like, you know, just like figuratively, I'd say it's just like, you know, like really enjoying this time, really taking it. It's just like the prime of your life.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it. And, you know, like life is hard, like at every point, and, you know, probably harder at this time because your body is failing you in different levels. But it's just like such a beautiful time to, you know, tune in with yourself and enjoy really what you have, because, you know, just like you're living and it's a privilege. So it's just, you know, that encapsulation of gratitude and feeling good about life. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Gratitude is always good. Always good, especially in a transition.
That's
Every
my
day.
religion. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
for
And I
sure.
think just knowing that, like, we have superpowers, and then we call it a Navi Peri power, and like, woo, Peri power, but we all have Peri power in us. And sometimes that sort of that light, that power gets dimmed sometimes because of all the things that are happening. But I think we have to remember, and then we have to remind each other how great we are too. We're doing a lot. We're going through things that it's kind of sometimes hard to relate to for people who are not going through. But as long as we continue to know how to articulate, educate ourselves, and keep talking about it in a way that, hey, this is like, hey, she's so Perry. Our dream is to use Perry as an
I
adjective,
love
kind of like, oh, Julie's so Perry. She's so Perry.
her.
So like
Like
using it as
she's
an
a
adjective to
badass. She's so Perry. Yeah.
exactly like what does actually Perry
Right.
means? It's about the bold, confident, vibrant, upbeat. I mean, those are the attitudes that we are embracing, and all of us, are falling into that. So let's celebrate it and also help each other, lean on each other when we need to. We're here to educate you guys as much as we need. And along the way, if the smart supplementation using the botanical solution is your thing, great. We love to have you as a part of our community. But really, we believe that let's educate so that we all have the power to make the choice that makes sense for our body, our complicated body.
I love that. See, this is why I fell in love with you guys just the minute I met. Like, oh my goodness, this is just what you stand for. You know, your messaging is just so spot on to help women in this stage and some actual post-menopausal women like me. We, continue to hear all that good stuff. Even health coach Angela says you have MenoWell Wonder Woman, right? And also Navi Perry Wonder Woman. So
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah.
Here's the package. Are these sample packs or is this how they
They're the
arrive, ladies?
sample. Yeah, we do
Okay.
have a full package you can find. You can take a look on our website. By the way, Marina, in the beginning, did you explain to Julie and the folks who are on this what Navi
Yeah.
means?
And
Yes.
that was her first question,
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, while you were spinning around, so you were the visual representative of what
That was
perimenopause
my brain
spinning.
fog.
There, that's what we said. Super cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so give the URL for the website again, ladies.
NNABI Life, one word, nabbilife.com. And we're on Instagram, nabi.life
Okay,
on
and that's
Instagram.
NNABI.
NNABI, butterfly, people.
Butterfly. Beautiful.
Fly
Thank you
away.
both for being here. I'm so glad we made it work. I'm glad that I think when you have three people on an IG live, it gets kind of weird. So I'm glad we just persisted, just like perimenopause,
Thank
to
you.
make it happen. So look forward to seeing you in person again soon. Keep doing your thing. Try it. See if it's for you. Read all the yummy excellent. Not really yummy because you swallow it, but yummy
They're
like
yummy. They're
in
yummy if you
human
try it.
form. Don't chew them. That's what I would say.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So wonderful to have you.
Thank
Be
you,
well.
Vivian.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care,
See you
everybody.
soon. You too.
See you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.